Welcome to PrimeTime's tutorial on TimeCard maintenance in PrimeNet. I've logged into PrimeNet and now I'm going to go to my TimeCards. I click here on Edit and Time Management. This takes me right where I need to be to fix missing punches, to approve or deny time off requests, and to view and fix any irregularities or add anything to a time card. We'll start with the time card. When we're looking at the time card, the first thing that's up here on this title bar is a culmination of the hours that are worked. Paid time away, total worked hours, and then the hours broken down based on what's overtime, what is regular time, and what might be double time if your state observes double time. Below here I can see the legend for the different colors that can appear below in the time card, which allows you to easily look at a time card and see what is on it without having to dig into it too deeply. We see here our time card. I see there's a couple of missing punches. I can easily correct these by just clicking on the missing portion, in this case being date out or time out. I could even click on the date in or the time in. It would bring me here. We can see it brings me to the inline editing. I click on the date out and go back to September 26th. And they were in at 7, so I'm just going to put them out at 5 p.m. and select Save. Before I click Save, I would want to put a note whenever you add a punch or edit a punch. You should always put a note in to remind you why you did that. This is very helpful if you're ever being audited, that you're not hit with trying to figure out why you added a punch 6 months ago. So the notes make it nice and easy for that, and you don't have to worry about it. So we click Save. That punch disappears because it was not part of this pay period. The missing punch still shows up on the current pay period to alert you that there is a problem. But once it is corrected, that punch will disappear off of here and go into the pay period it's supposed to as a corrected complete punch. To add a transaction to the time card, we're going to select Add New Transaction. And you'll notice there's a start and a stop. I don't want to add an in punch or just an out punch or anything. I want to add a complete transaction right now. And moreover, I'm going to go in and do a PTO transaction. And we'll do it for today. I'm going to start at 12 o'clock because this employee already clocked out at 11 a.m. today. So I'm going to start at 12 p.m. That gives them an hour for lunch. I'm going to select 4 hours. And I'm going to choose personal time. I can put notes on this, but giving someone personal time is not as big of a deal on requiring a note as, say, why you're editing someone's in or out punch or their lunch start or stop or adding a punch. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And now we can see at a glance we've got green. This is a punch that's paid time away. I can see up here we now have 4 hours of paid time away. I'll add another transaction. I'll do this one for the 10th. And we're going to do awards. And we're going to give this person a bonus. And we'll just put it in at 8 a.m. in the morning. We're going to give them one $100 bonus. And I'll put a note on that so we know why we're giving the bonus, and click Save. Now I can see the color. It's an award. We awarded them a bonus of $100. Now, overlapping time would just be time where I've got, say, a transaction in from 7 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon, and then for whatever reason, I put another transaction in for that same day from, say, 12:30 to 5 p.m. Well, that 12:30 to 1 o'clock is now being counted twice. So the system's going to come up and tell me with the fuchsia colored that, hey, you've got some overlapping time that needs to be addressed. You're fixing to pay somebody twice for the same number of minutes. My exception or incomplete punch, as we've seen here, we've got an incomplete punch. But if we've got somebody that is clocked in, it would also show down below for today the same color for an in punch. Now, if I just want to add a single punch, I do not do that from here. I just add a closed punch or a bulk number of hours utilizing this. For an in punch or an out punch or a lunch start, lunch stop punch, I need to go back over to my exceptions tab. And in the exceptions tab will be another spot right here that I can add my single punches. Right here we see it's add new punch. I just click on this. There's my in punch, my date, the employee. I can come down here and let's say 5 p.m. We're going to clock them in. I click Save. I can go back to the timesheet and refresh. And now I see my current in punch. To fix punches, we can go to our exceptions tab, and we don't have to add a new punch. We can see this is an in punch and it's missing an out punch. So we don't need to add a new punch. We've got the date out and the timeout over here. All we have to do is click here. That's going to open this up into edit mode. We select the date and the timeout, our note, and we click Save. And then we just continue the rest of the way down. If I need to look on the time card for anything, I can just click on the name right here, and that will take me to the timesheet tab where I can view everything that's in the time card. But if I'm just clicking right here, I'll be able to see what's in the time card for this particular week. And here's his time, 6 to 8, 8 to 6. Punch type E that's edited, that means I added those in. And then I could fix his missing punch here. So that's the only difference really between the exceptions and the timesheet. If you're using a time clock, an actual hardware time clock, and you've had somebody that's enrolled but you haven't had a chance to put them in the system yet, clicking on the unknown IDs would enable them to show up. I can see I've got 3 punches from 2 different badge numbers that are not assigned to anyone in the system. Once I add these employees into the system and put their badge number properly where it goes for that employee, these punches will then immediately attach to that employee with this badge number. Punches within the punch threshold, these are just the people that have clocked in within the last, let's say 16 hours would be the threshold on this company. And what that means is the time clock looks at anyone that's clocked in within the last 16 hours that has not clocked out. And typically these are going to be all of your people that are currently clocked in. Where this might be Something to look at is if you've got 3 shifts, maybe a grave shift, you can select punches within punch threshold, and if you notice somebody's in there that should already be clocked out, this is an early way to be able to find punches that are going to be showing up in your exceptions once the threshold is closed. I can sort these by manager, department, labor level, or supervisor. I can add a card ID to find a particular one I'm looking for in the event that I have, 20, 30, 40, 50 missed punches and I need to look for a specific person. I can narrow it down by choosing any of the options here. Once we've completed our exceptions and we're good with our timesheet, we can click on PTO requests, and we can come in here and approve or deny the request for PTO. To approve it, I simply click on approve. I can leave a note, usually my initials, just so I know I approved it, and select accept. That's going to go out of here and be down under my resolved list, and it'll insert into that person's time card. You're seeing a green transaction here, and you're seeing the white and shaded blue transactions. These here are for pay periods that have already passed or the current pay period. The green is for future transaction. So this happens in the future. These have all already happened in the past, and I really need to get in and approve or deny these, or if the pay period gets closed, I'm not going to be able to submit these, and the employee is not going to get their PTO time they requested. If they don't have time in the bank, or I want them to use a different bank for whatever reason, maybe they need to use sick for this, and that message was just telling me basically this person doesn't have enough remaining hours in here, so it wouldn't let me approve it. We can look at what they've got for vacation. He doesn't have enough for vacation. Personal, they're allowed to go negative in personal, or we just use comp time where they're positive. And if we needed to change this maybe to 4 instead of 8, we could do that as well. Approve. Since it's 4, we can put a start time in here. Maybe they're going to leave at 1 p.m. that day, and approve it. Add a note and accept, and then we can work on our other ones. In our resolved, we can sort these by name, day of the week, date, sort them in ascending or descending. I can hold my mouse over here to look at the notes. And if for any reason I made a mistake, I can simply click the revert to bring that out of approved status and back into a pending status. This concludes the time card maintenance for PrimeNet. Thank you for watching.